trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz. We've been talking this morning about, several matchups throughout the county. Boys loaded slate last night. Girls will take center stage this afternoon as we'll be over at Elyria for a ball game in the SWC, but that'll feature the Elyria Pioneers hosting the Midview Middies. But basically, as we've said before, Ron, this seems like it's going to be the showdown for the conference in the Lorain County League, and it features the Firelands Falcons hosting the Keystone Wildcats. And joining us right now, the head coach of the Firelands Falcons on the girls' side, Onyx Lopez. Good morning and welcome to the program, Coach.
Hi, good morning.
If you could turn up volume just a little bit, we can hear you, but hopefully, yep, there we go. Get a little bit closer. So, first of all, tell us about the matchup here this afternoon, late afternoon, early evening against Keystone in a game that's actually been moved around a little bit time-wise.
We're excited to host. I mean, I think over the past 4 years since I've been here, this is kind of a situation we found ourselves in a couple of times. So, we are here again and just trying to come out on the other side of it this time.
Onyx, when you look at this afternoon's matchup with Keystone and you look at how those matchups have gone in the last couple of years, they've always been, marquee. They've always been two of the top teams in the Lorain County 8 conference. And I think you have definitely developed a signature, and correct me if I'm wrong, at Firelands, of being a tough, physical basketball team. Correct? And if so, how does that play into today's matchup?
I think we're just going to keep doing what we do. And part of that, a lot of that is what we do defensively. And we allow that to kind of carry us into offense. And we did the same thing against them last time. We just came up a little bit short on the offensive end. So we are going to use that physicality to our strength and just continue pushing with defense and not necessarily changing anything that we're doing or changing our identity as a group, but just trying to perfect and tweak a couple of little things that I think could push us over the edge.
Onyx, you played Columbia a week ago in another marquee matchup, and you go to their place to take on Faith Williams' team. And, they had that storybook season a year ago, and they have played very well again this year. And if folks looked at the final score, they probably thought, wow, talk about clamp down defense. I mean, you walked in against a very good team, and you just walked away with a commanding victory. What was good about that game and the experience for your team playing in a big game already? How does it translate into today?
Yeah, when Columbia came to us, they weren't fully healthy, and we kind of knew that. And we got off to a little bit of a slow start there, but then we figured out, how to play at our pace on our floor, and we pulled away with a victory, which was actually my first time beating Columbia, our first time beating Columbia. And so then when we went there, I think we were just kind of tired of going there and leaving with the same old story of losing. Their gym is so difficult to play in, especially on a weekday when they have a big student section that sits right behind your basket or right next to your bench. And we got them on a Saturday, and I didn't think that was as much of a factor in the game as it normally is. And our girls were just ready to play. They kind of changed that narrative of losing there each time or coming up just a little bit short. And we went back and we looked at the film. They played a complete game for 4 quarters. And like you said, that experience alone and that confidence booster is going to push us right into what we're trying to do today.
Onyx Lopez with the Firelands Lady Falcons program joining us. We certainly had the first matchup over at Keystone, and it was a grind, as you mentioned. Defensively, you guys got off to a really good start, and despite the end result, you still held a really good team to a small number, relatively speaking, in terms of what they're capable of putting up. Was there a matchup that you and your staff identified, or was that maybe a player that said, I want the responsibility of trying to maybe hold down Maddie Sokolowski for the remainder of that game?
The Schrader girls, they are top-tier defenders. And they're a sister pair that kind of can just stay with girls. They have a knack for wanting that challenge and kind of bringing it on. And obviously, everybody in the county should, if they don't know who Madison Sokolowski is. She is a fantastic player. and she leads in all kinds of different categories. And because she's in our conference, I think we know a lot more about her than maybe some other teams do. But I mean, that's what we hold our head on at the end of the day is our defense. And so part of that's going to obviously play a key role in stopping her, being that that's their leading scorer. But, you know, those girls did as best as they could on her, and we kind of tried to take care of the rest. And I don't think our problem that game was a defensive problem. I think we held them to kind of probably one of their lowest scoring games and held her to scoring games. So I think we had an offensive little rut there, and that's what we kind of went back and looked at and made some adjustments to over, you know, since we played them last. And our defense continues to kind of shine. So that, to me, that's not our problem.
So how do you fix the offense? Not that you need to fix it, but I mean, how do you get to where you want to go there?
You know what? We just, one thing we have to have is more confidence. I think when we have a bunch of athletes that, you know, just play really, really hard, don't necessarily, all of my girls play at least 2 sports, if not 3. And only a few of them really focus on basketball throughout the off season. So when they come, they are just a really hard-working group of girls. And sometimes we struggle with confidence when things don't necessarily go our way. So the first key is just being more confident when we're out there, understanding that we're out there for a reason. We're competing for first place for a reason. It's because we're a good team and we're solid. And then after that, it goes to kind of keying in on some of our leading scorers as well, like trying to be a little bit more intentional with the shots we're taking and who's taking them, especially if we're getting ourselves into a little bit of a rut. We've kind of developed and implemented some things that we can do to kind of get some quick hitters going and trying to get, you know, quick, easy buckets. And then on top of that, just changing our defensive style to allow for a little bit more transition. I think on our floor, defense is the best offense for us, especially with a big, huge floor that we can run on. So, you know, that's the other thing we're going to try to do as well.
Onyx, what year is this for you at Firelands?
4. So
Fourth.
Already in 4th year.
Wow. So one thing that I'm real interested in knowing, how comfortable are you now? Because you sound so confident and comfortable, and you know you're giggling. And is your father there? Is that you're okay? The court, your dad's your assistant. Your mom runs the scorebook. It's a great story. The Lopez family. Are you comfortable?
Yeah, honestly, the comfortability comes from having, you know, people in my corner that I trust. So my dad, my mom, my high school coach, obviously Coach Feldman is my JV coach, and we have like a really good thing going over here. But on top of that, like I wouldn't be as comfortable as I am if it wasn't for the group of girls I have. They are just, you know, willing to run through a wall for me at any point in time. They're silly, but they're serious, and we've just developed a really great relationship. The seniors that I have now were freshmen when I first started. And we kind of, I mean, Firelands got a new school, so we came to a new building together, kind of have learned each other over the past 4 years. And then the girls that I have, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, kind of the same thing. And we've just developed a good relationship, and I think we're in a really good spot moving forward.
And you're right there courtside. Yeah. You are in the house early, Onyx.
We're having a shoot around, and they want to.
Go ahead and show us again the court.
They're having some breakfast of champions, some Dunkin' Donuts.
Nice. Are you expecting a big crowd this afternoon?
Yeah, it's actually our Youth League recognition night as well. So I'm hoping that helps. I know the weather's going to probably play a factor here, but our fans are super into it and super loyal. So I'm sure there'll be a big crowd. Yeah. Yeah,
out in the Firelands area, they're hardy. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have snow and ice and cold weather; they'll be out.
They're going to beat the snow tonight. It's the cold. Hey, you can't run from that, but it's hot in the gym. So you know, you actually that's a good thing. You can advertise that and say, "Hey, get warm in the gym,"
right?
And you'll be home before the snow hits.
Exactly.
So, Coach, thanks for joining us this morning. Obviously, good luck in a matchup that, again, the first one that was that lived up to all the expectations. You get the next one, the rematch at your place. So, obviously it's a premier matchup. Good luck to both schools, and obviously continued success over at that Firelands program.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And Onyx, next time we have you on, I'm going to come out by you, and I'll have donuts with you, and we'll leave Jared back here, and I'll co-host from Firelands with Dunkin' Donuts.
And he could do that, but just be prepared that he will not bring the donuts. You'll have to provide those.
Thank you, Onyx. Good luck today.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Onyx Lopez, wow, hard to believe, fourth-year coach with the Firelands Falcons. It just seems like, we're getting that a lot with these girls programs that they hire, a positive female role model to be the leader there. When you think about what's going on over at Midview, obviously Faith Williams, who we talked with last week, but Brittany McNamara Cole over at Midview, former
Ridgeville for years.
For years with Amy Esser,
yeah.
But yeah, Amy Esser, hard to believe. Rob told me yesterday, 18th year for her, and
I love it. As a father of 4 children, 3 of which who are daughters, I love the positive female role model as coaches in the lives of the girls that play in our communities.
But you think about like Onyx and Faith Williams over at Columbia, they're not all that far removed from playing.
No, they're not.
When you think about it that way, and it's a whole new dimension to how that can work.
Well, Onyx had a great career athletically at Lorain County Community College,
right.
Both as a basketball player and a volleyball player. She's she's an athlete.
Yeah, it's one of the success stories about good things happen to people that work hard and put the time into it. So quick break, and we're going to try to catch up with Colin Myers. We'll keep it in the Firelands family here on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. His Firelands Falcons, a 61-55 winner over Columbia last night. It's Jared Kozar and Ron Yantz online at WEOL.com and also on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Are you undecided about your future and overwhelmed by the options? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Lorain County Community College has helped thousands of students just like you find their future career. From short-term training programs to transfer options all the way to bachelor degrees, our programs are designed to set you up for future success. Lorain County Community College, your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Lorain Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
And we welcome you back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. It's Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz. We're trying to reach out a couple of Lorain County League coaches lined up in Colin Myers and Jeff Holzhauer, and it's sort of a race now to see who's going to get there, but we'll try to get you both in sub capacity as we figure out how the turnstiles are going to move here.
Well, we know that Colin is in the other gym at Firelands High School, and the reason we know that, we have inside information from somebody in Firelands High School now. So
weird how that works.
Yeah, actually, Coach Lopez of the girls programs walking over to see if she can remind Colin, pull him out of practice.
Yeah. But, when I connected with Colin last night, he mentioned, he's like, well, yeah, I'll be in there probably about 8 o'clock. So whenever you need me is good. But I can see how maybe he got wrapped up into something, and that can happen.
It's one of the beauties, I think, of this Saturday morning show where we're on the YouTube channel now. We're streaming, so folks can see where these coaches are. And you and I were just having this conversation this week about, some coaches call us courtside, like Onyx just did. Some coaches call us from their home. Some coaches, while they're driving in their car to a JV game on a Saturday morning after a Friday night football game, call us, while they're driving. I mean, they've got, they're doing it safely, but it's fun because they're taking their time out of a busy morning to spend 10 or 15 minutes with us. And we see it in the video presentation, and we're thankful and grateful for that.
Well, and the cool thing is I think that a lot of people are understanding how the new format for us works, and they like it, and it's very interactive. There's some early adapters, and there's some guys that are coming around. One of the people that I think is really a great ambassador for this, and I would never say this about him under any other stretch of circumstances, Rob Polinsky. He simply says, if I can figure it out, so can you. Basically, that's how he tells everybody that, you can walk around with it. He was like, if you're in your home, he's like, you could be doing yard work. Bring this thing around with you and just connect with us that way. And I tend to agree with him. If Rob can do it, yeah, anybody can.
And Rob's on a call this afternoon at Elyria High doing the girls matchup between the Pioneers and the Middies, correct?
Yeah, Rob's been busy. He had a busy week. We put him out last night over at Brookside. Had a great call that game, 59-51, as the Cardinals remain undefeated in conference play with a win over Oberlin. And yeah, Rob right back out at it again and in today. So, I mean, the grump level is going to go up to about 9.5, but the work level has been high as well. So a lot of times with Rob, I don't always get that that balance of the grump level is always pretty high, but sometimes the work output 4, maybe 4.5. It depends on how he's feeling that week or month. But, this week, I think, grump certainly there, but work's high too.
Well, I think we should stop picking on Rob, at least for just a second. Coming up, we've got Larry Babbix from Brookside. He's going to come in the 10 o'clock hour to talk about that win last night. Jared, I'm interested in your thoughts. Were you surprised by how tight that game was? Because although Oberlin, the Phoenix, have been doing well and playing well, but matched up against, the powerhouse that Brookside has become in that conference, and to keep that game tight, were you surprised?
Well, and we'll talk about it with Larry, certainly, but I'll tell you what, I wasn't surprised because I think Kurt Russell looks at that and says, I don't care if they're the top dog in the conference or not. We're over 500, but they've had a very blue collar effort in Oberlin this year to get back to over 500 heading into last night's game. The loss sets them back to 500 on the campaign, but they didn't walk in there as if they were the third or fourth place team in the conference. They walked in there as if they had an opportunity to be able to take that one. And really, I think Kurt would tell you in a private moment, and or maybe it wouldn't be private, they played well enough to win that game last night. And I know he felt that way walking out. So despite what the scoreboard says, he and his guys went on the road and put up a really good effort. And we've got Colin Myers now of the victorious Firelands Falcons. They come off of a win last night, quality win over Columbia by a score of 61-55. Colin, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That's our pleasure. So, Coach, we talked about it last week. It was the same group, Ron, and you, and we talked about how you guys have been right there. And, just things haven't quite gone your way. But once you've turned that calendar over now, the second half of the season in league play, you've got a couple under your belt already.
Yeah, the things we talked about last week, trying to close out close games and doing what it takes when the game is tight there at the end. We finally were able to do last night. We got stops when we needed them, got to the free throw line, made free throws, made shots. It was a lot of growth for us last night for a young team, learning how to win those close games. And hopefully that continues.
Colin, tell us where you're at right now and why you're at where you are right now, and just the cycle of a coach, how it never really ends.
Yeah, so we're in our auxiliary gym right now, getting shots up this morning, waiting for our youth league team to play. So we just bring the kids in Saturday morning after a game, talk about the game the night before, watch a little bit of film, and try to get some shots up. Not necessarily kill their legs, but, keep them in the gym, working on their skill part of the aspect, and keep getting better.
Can you turn the camera to show us the gym?
Not sure how to turn it on that, but
there you go. Yeah. Colin, how enjoyable is that for you to coach, to compete, to have a victory on a Friday night, and then Saturday morning you're there with the team that you've committed to and they've committed to you, and you're just, it's got to be a nice cycle, I would think, as a coach.
Yeah, it's been fun. This is a great group of kids. They're so positive, and they just love the work and practice. And our practices are a lot of fun just because these kids work and compete so hard at practice. Sometimes we joke we play harder at practice than we do in the games. But it is a lot of fun. I mean, obviously everybody wants to win. And it's much more enjoyable going home Friday night after a win My wife would say the same thing. She enjoys it around me a little more after we win a game. But yeah, it's been fun with this group.
Colin, one of the things that I noticed about your team, and we've referenced the Vermilion win a couple of times, but you got healthy at maybe the right time. And then there were a couple of setbacks, and I think it was more along the lines of nothing debilitating, but the flu that just went around and just tore through most of this area over the past 3 or 4 weeks. Is there something to that from a coaching standpoint of you guys are getting healthy at the right time and able to have that full complement of players available?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult when you're missing any kid. It doesn't matter how much he plays. Every kid has a role. So you got to either coach around that role if the kid's not there, or find somebody else to step into a role they're not necessarily comfortable with. And yeah, like you said, when we're healthy, we're a much different team. And, we had everybody available last night, and it makes a huge difference. Like I said, it doesn't matter if the kid's playing 2 minutes or 30 minutes. They all contribute and help one way or another. So when we're able to rely on everybody like that, it makes it easier to coach and easier on each other.
Colin, we just had Onyx Lopez on just literally before you, and I think actually Onyx maybe walked over to the auxiliary gym to tell you that you were next. And she mentioned that many of her players play multiple sports, and and she gets them at a certain point, and I'm sure yours does. Your team has a roster like that too. So my question is this. I want it to be a positive thing. How does that work positive wise? I mean, you've got a core of athletes and students who are playing multiple sports at a small school, and what's the positive of that? Because I know that it is. I mean, in a world of specialization, a school like Firelands and other small schools don't really have that. They've got still that old school mentality where Colin Myers is playing basketball, football, and baseball, all in a calendar year.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the leadership aspect of things. When you have the leader on the football team playing basketball, the leader on the baseball team playing basketball, the leader on the track team playing, you bring all these kids together that lead their other sports. And when you put it together on the basketball court, then you have a ton of leadership, a ton of kids working hard and expecting the most out of each other. And then just for the health aspect of things, you're using different muscles and different moves in every sport. So when you're on a basketball court, it kind of brings all of that together, whether it's running, jumping, shooting, pushing people around. You're able to bring all that together, everything you work on the rest of the year, and it definitely helps. And we try to get as many kids playing as many sports as possible. And again, that's kind of one of our keys. It really helps this program.
I love that answer, leadership and health. That's a great answer.
And I like the question, Colin, that Ron just asked, because when you think about your opponent from last night, Columbia, they're not necessarily a mirror image of you guys, but when you think about the makeup of the school and the population, Ron's right. Your athletes are your athletes. So, you and Josh kind of match up the same way in terms of, your guys from football, your guys from basketball, and depending on how rough the season was or, what became of them, they could be a little bit banged up. And as Ron said, there's some guys that are certainly, different roles that you mentioned. In your case, you got Liam Tobicash out there. He's the quarterback of the football team, but he comes in there and gives you solid minutes. And there's a definitive pathway to what he wants to do when he gets on the floor and is able to contribute for you right away. I guess talk about the dynamics of that size school and athletics.
Yeah, it definitely helps, and he was one of those kids I was talking about it. As a leader, he stepped up huge for us these last couple of weeks, and he's kind of been like our glue guy, rallying everybody. And yeah, it really helps a program like us. In Columbia, they're well coached. They play hard, and we were actually saying after the game last night, they don't have a lot of bigs, but the kids they got, and they're extremely physical and like to push you around too. And I think that's because of their football program. They got a good football program over there. Those kids aren't scared of the weight room, and it translates onto the court.
Well, Colin, before we let you go, obviously it's been a couple of nice, a good 10-day stretch for you, I'd say, if people had to look at things. What has to continue for that, for you to have a nice week ahead?
Yeah, we got to have multiple kids, scoring the basketball and sharing the basketball, playing team basketball. And we got to continue to, dominate the glass. Anytime we can win the rebounding battle, it's going to put us in a position to get those second chance points and limit teams' runs. And it's been working for us.
Well, Continued success. Thanks for taking the time this morning and catching up with us. Glad Coach Lopez was able to reel you in for us this morning, and good catching up with you once again on a Saturday.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Colin, thank you. Good luck.
It's our pleasure. It's Colin Myers, and again, he's with the Firelands Falcons. They were knocking on the door for the past basically 3 weeks of just looking like they lost by one. They lost in overtime.
Right.
Something would happen that just wouldn't work out their way, and they flipped the script over the past 3 games.
I imagine you wouldn't want to play him right now.
No, it is certainly not. And speaking of somebody, that we're going to find out about their program a little bit, and you wouldn't want to play. We had Rocky Houston and the Keystone Lady Wildcats. They got a win over Columbia.
Can we put both of these guys on at the same time?
You could if you want to, but I don't know. That's a lot of pressure on.
Put Coach Houston on along with his athletic director and boys basketball coach, Coach Holzhauer. Can we put them both on at the same time?
Boy, this is going to be one of those things that gets me in trouble. And Ron, is using his broadcast background far wiser than I am in terms of years of service and experience.
So Rock needs to turn his camera on.
If Rock might just want the camera facing the wall. You don't know that. Rock, can you hear us?
He's not there yet. So let's bring Coach Holzhauer on. We can. Rocky can hear us.
Rock's got us.
Rock, turn your camera on.
Yeah, it's on.
We got you loud and clear, Rock. Thanks for taking some time to hook up with us this morning. Huge matchup in terms of the Lorain County League.
You want to put Coach Holzhauer on?
We're going to do that in a moment, Ron. Oh, okay. Let's let Rocky get in here and saddle up, okay? But as we were saying, Coach, huge matchup here this late afternoon, early evening for you guys in terms of what basically amounts to a conference championship showdown. And you go on the road against Firelands. We talked to Onyx Lopez just a few moments ago, and certainly she's excited about hosting. And, we had the game, the first one over at your place. It did not disappoint, and it was really a defensive showdown and showcase right up until the end of the game.
Rocky looks like he's an air traffic controller. Look at that. Guy.
Yeah, that's what my son. He just graduated. He's air traffic controller down in Columbus right now.
Congratulations.
Rock. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We need more of it.
Yeah, buddy.
So again, just your thoughts on how this one unfolds is basically you're looking at, the quasi-conference title matchup that would be, it would give you guys an outright if you can pull it off this afternoon.
Yeah, it's you kind of stated it pretty well. I mean, it's two teams that play really good defense. And that's what I expect again today. I expect both of us to play really well on the defensive end, and it's just finding a way to make some key buckets when you have the opportunities to, and doing in our end, obviously doing the best we can to keep Copley off the offensive board. She's tough inside, and when she gets a rebound, it's going right back up, and if she doesn't make it, a lot of times you foul her and she's at the free throw line anyway. So we'll have our hands full there, but us on the offensive side, we just got to move the basketball around, we get opportunities to make shots, and then we'll take them and make them.
Rock, speaking offense, let's bring up Maddie Sokolowski. How impressive has she been as a scorer this season? I mean, we've seen her coming for years now, and then secondly, how impressive is it too when you add to the fact that everybody's targeting her? Like defenses are, they're not going to try to shut that down, but she's still able to put points up.
Yeah, she's a pretty remarkable kid. She puts in a lot of time, a lot of work in the off season. She's not somebody who shows up when the season starts and then starts playing basketball. So and it shows when she's out there on the floor. And this is the first real time that she's had the focal point. She's got to play with some pretty good teams the last couple of years where she was one of the scorers on the team. So this year she's experiencing that, what some of our girls went through in the past, with like Delaney Peters and Brooklyn Barber, where you're face guarded, you're getting double teamed. We set a screen, they don't get through, they're switching and they're right up on you and they're grabbing you and they're pushing you and shoving you. And, and I think each game that she goes through that, she's handling it better, and she's still finding ways to score. Whether it's getting to the hoop, whether it's pulling up, shooting some floaters, or it's getting an opportunity and knocking down some threes, and and she's getting to the free throw line a little bit. I think she should be at the free throw line a little bit more than what she's actually getting, especially after we watch game film afterwards. But she fights through that and plays through it all, and she handles it with class. And and she reacts the way you want your best player to react. So her teammates trust her and follow her, and they don't get flustered and bothered because she gets flustered and bothered, and she doesn't do that. She doesn't show it. She just keeps playing, and she keeps playing and playing, and eventually she makes a play here and there, makes a play there, and then next thing you know, she's finding her teammate for an assist, and then she's had 5 double-doubles this year. You're talking about somebody who's not the tallest player, but she's leading our team with rebounds, like 7.5 rebounds a game on top of the scoring part. So, she's a complete basketball player. She's got a huge IQ. She understands the game really, really well. And probably the best part about it is she's extremely coachable. She wants to learn. She wants to understand. And she wants to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and adjust with everything that we're doing on the fly. We have to do a lot of stuff on the fly. We're just so young. So a lot of the girls are learning this for the very first time. When you got 4 freshmen on the floor and 4 sophomores on the floor with, then the 2 juniors, there's not a lot of varsity experience. So there's a lot of stuff that these girls are learning and experiencing for the very first time. And Maddie's done a great job handling all that as well.
Rocky, to that point, and Ron and I have talked about it with, I think, every guest we've had this morning. Certainly a couple of years back, you go down and you make a state championship run. You go down to Dayton, and that happens. You've got a senior-laden team at that point, very experienced. Outside of that, though, Rock, you've kind of manufactured leadership opportunities with all your rosters, except really that group that made that state run. But that's not something that seems it's uncommon lately, not just at your place, but throughout the county. You're looking at leaders that have a chance to step up early in their career. Yeah,
it's been a pretty cool, pretty interesting thing. But even last year, we still had 4 seniors that started.
That's true. Yeah.
This team reminds me a lot of that my second year of coaching, where my daughter, or it'd be my 3rd year of coaching. So when my daughter was a sophomore with Jess Forthover as a sophomore, and then we had Vivian Castle come in and Brooklyn Barber come in as freshmen. And then we had Delaney Peters. So we didn't have an overwhelming a lot of experience, but we had enough of it and enough girls that wanted to learn, wanted to get better, worked at the game, and were coachable. And those girls found them in the same position where we were playing Firelands at the end of the year to get a share of that conference. And we were pretty big underdogs at that point in time, and we did what we needed to do and got a share of the conference. This year, we knew that we were the young ones. We were going to have to find ways to win some games early on so that we could be in this position at the end. And our girls, they did everything that they were supposed to do and figure it out. It was a big loss for us early on. We lost Mia Stefan, our only senior, about 4 maybe it was the beginning of our 5th game. She tears her ACL about a minute or so into the game. And so that's our one senior, and she was a big part of our game planning, especially on the defensive side of things. So ended up getting a freshman into our lineup with Caitlin Lamb, and she's done a great job. In addition to that, and I think Sophia Clerico and Jada Gaines, with their experience last year, playing in the rotation and varsity, has helped tremendously. And then having Kendall Krabiels, she's so long with her arms. She gets deflections here and there, and she gets a key rebound here and there. And she doesn't score a bunch, but when she scores, it's a basket when we need it and where we need it at.
Rocky, today against Firelands, we had Coach Lopez on earlier in this hour, and she said just what you said about the defenses. That's going to be there. Both teams committed to it. Both teams are good at it. They need to be better, she thought, on the offensive end. For you to win today, what does your team need to be better at?
Yeah, and I've talked to it several times with this team this year, because the games that had been closer, when we did fall to Columbia early this year, I tell the girls we got stung by the bees, and we get beat baseline. We're not being in the gap. We're not boxing out, and we don't have good ball pressure. But when we do those 4 things, we're really good on the defensive end. And that's what we have to do today. We've got to do all those things. We got to play good team defense. We don't get beat baseline. We're being in the gap when we're supposed to be. We're boxing out when shots go up, and then we have good ball pressure. As long as we do those things, I think our girls work enough, put enough time in that, when they get scoring opportunities, they're going to knock down some shots. And it's going to be a really fun game. And the fourth quarter is going to be, exciting one to watch for everybody.
Sure will.
Rock, before we let you go, we're going to bring in Jeff Holzhauer here because I know he'll be on the bus when you guys are wrapping up over at your ball game. So we'll let you guys wish each other luck. But before that, it just seems that the past few years we've been a part of it too. It comes down to you guys, Firelands, Columbia, fighting it out for that Lorain County League title in terms of girls hoops. I guess, what does it say about you guys and the programs, your schools, and what does it say about, just the consistency that you can look at to say, three teams can really know each other well and go after it each year, and everybody would be a deserving conference champion should that opportunity emerge.
Yeah, it's been a pretty cool thing to have the three of us in that little triangle for the last handful of years. A lot of it, our administration does a lot to help our youth program have availability to the gyms, which I think is a big part of our success. We've got, so many kids that have started playing basketball, this year, all the way down to kindergarten, and playing all the way through 6th grade, which has helped our 7th and 8th grade programs, which is leading into our high school programs. And, that the school allowing us to do that and giving us the opportunity and giving our youth the opportunity to grow has been huge to the success we've had. And then, obviously when we get into high school, Jeff the other day him and the administration did an extreme amount to make sure we had a huge student section for that Columbia game, and it was truly appreciated. And our student section was outstanding in that game, and I think they made a big difference as well.
Jeff, you're on with Rock. Rock, you're on with Jeff. Like I said, you guys will be in different facilities at 5 o'clock later this afternoon. So just wanted to give you guys a chance to connect.
Yeah, good luck to you tonight, Jeff. Be safe on that road.
Yeah, it's really poor scheduling by the athletic director over at Keystone. So, it's a game that I was hoping we could play that girls' game in the afternoon. But the girls, I know especially over at Firelands, wanted a night game, and it's the only night that worked with us and Perkins. And then I got excited because Perkins wanted to move the game up. So I'm like, oh, this is going to work. And I said, I'd like to start ours at 1 o'clock today. And then after the superintendents met, they wanted to move up the girls as well. So it's not working out for us. But I wish Rock the best of luck. I wish I could be there. It's a game I really look forward to watching. And I thought it was going to work, but it's not. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. And I know Rock's our biggest fan too. So as you guys know, he used to be on our staff and really close with our coaching staff and close with our kids and close with our program. So we like to keep tabs on each other.
So Before we let Rock go on this note, I'm sure, as you mentioned, this lays into the next thing. These are the plans that Ron Yance and I come up with. Rocky Houston, of course, on your staff for quite a number of years, Jeff. You mentioned that, and I'm pretty sure that Rock knows this, but you're celebrating a milestone victory as of last night with your win over Clearview, number 200 on the career. And I'm going to date myself here, but I remember when you got the job. So, congratulations on
Lord,
200.
How old are you?
The list is long. Wow. But 22nd year here at the station. So think about it that way. But congratulations on 200. And again, I thought it was cool that Rock was able to join us because he had a hand in some of those, I'm sure.
I was just about to say, Rocky had a hand in a lot of those wins. So we've done a lot of this together. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, congrats, Coach. It's well deserved. You put the time in, and you deserve all that success.
You know what, Rocky?
Just to hint on that, just for a second, though. I didn't realize it till the other day when I was putting my stats in. Our girls program 2 games ago hit the 600 total wins in the history of Keystone. So we're at 602 right now. So
wow,
that's a pretty cool number.
That's a really good number, Rock. Congratulations, and congratulations, Jeff, to say your girls program is 600 wins, and certainly, I can't remember too many lean seasons in the last 15 or 20 years that I've been around for Keystone Lady Wildcats basketball.
I think, Rocky, in order to honor Coach Holzhauer with 200 victories, I think probably because you are youthful still, Rocky Houston, that you should go shovel his driveway tomorrow when Lorain County gets 8 to 12 inches of snow, just to, to say you appreciate all that he's done for the boys program and you over time. So, Coach Holzhauer, what do you think about that? If Rock comes over with a shovel and helps you dig out,
Sounds like Rock's lost a bet.
I keep reading about how dangerous it is for old guys to be shoveling snow in the cold. So I don't know if that's a good idea.
I concur with that, Coach Holzhauer. I concur.
Rock, we're gonna let you go, buddy, and we're gonna catch you up. I wouldn't be on the business end of a shovel if I was you tomorrow. Stay away from the Holzhauer residence for a couple of days. Let that one simmer. But good luck tonight as you go in search of a conference championship in the Lorain County League girls hoops. Thanks for joining us this morning, Rock.
Yep, appreciate it, Ron. Appreciate it, Jared. I appreciate all you guys' coverage, and I'm looking forward to the night, and hopefully we put a good show on for everybody.
Always good to catch up. Take care,
Should be
Rock.
a great game.
Thanks. Rocky Houston with the Lady Wildcats program of Keystone. Jeff, thanks for being patient with us as far as that goes. Thought it'd be good to get crosstalk because you guys have such a good relationship and have been a part of the winning culture at Keystone really over the past few years. And, last night, no different though. An up and down Clearview team. You guys can only play who's on the schedule, but you come out with a big one, 89-39. What went well, it sounds like a lot of things went well for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really wanted to focus on what we were doing on the defensive end, especially in preparation of what we have going on today. We just wanted to be sharp defensively, and we didn't do anything fancy. We just guarded the ball well. We got out, we ran, we got quick shots. And we didn't even shoot a great percentage last night. For two, we got a lot of easy shots, but we were 33% for three, which is well below our season average. But we just got a lot of shots, a lot of quick shots, a lot of efficient shots. I thought Colt and Liam were awesome last night. Obviously, Colt went off scoring and Liam stuffed the stat sheet. So Colt had 34 points at the half and was just making everything. And Liam ended up with 20 points, I think 8 assists and 7 rebounds. So when those two are going like that, and Colt ended up with 41, which is one of the highest of anyone we've had since I've been coaching. 40. Yeah. So 41 is a big number, especially 34 in the first half. So
Jeff,
when we get those two guys going like that and playing off of each other, we're really hard to beat.
If Colt had 34 at halftime, how many did you guys have as a team at halftime?
Like 56, I think.
57, I think.
Yeah,
50,
right.
Okay.
57.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a pretty efficient outing when you talk about that. Clearly, Jeff, when you think about that game, you guys were able to, I don't want to say put it away at the half like you mentioned, but you doubled up, I believe, at the intermission, and then you were able to pull away. It's a conference win. It counts, and certainly Clearview, they've been up and down, but you guys were able to really put them away in that ball game. You can compartmentalize that now as you prepare for a really good Perkins team that going out to, as I was told, it's called the Plank today out in Sandusky. So preview that one a little bit, and interesting trip to make when you think about kind of getting into late January.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. We're excited. I know a lot of those guys over at Perkins, and we've had a good relationship with them over the years with our kids growing up, and they've had some really good classes that match up with our really good classes. Our sophomore class, actually, we played them in basketball in 8th grade, and we played them in football in 8th grade. So it's a group that we've been trying to match up against because we like their kids, we like their parents and their coaching staff. So that's how this happened, and we're going to head over there this year, and they'll head over to our place next year, and we're looking forward to it.
Jeff, despite all of that, the relationships in the backstory to this matchup today, do you put this on your schedule too, just to give you a very good opponent right in the middle of your conference season, right before you're getting to go into that home stretch? Does it help you competition-wise?
Oh, no doubt. I'm not happy with our record. We've had 3 tough losses this year that, the Keystone fans could say, we should have won all of them. And it's easy to say that. I don't know if we should have won all of them, but we could have won all of them. We've had some teams that really stepped up and made some great plays to beat us down the stretch, and I'm not disappointed in how we've played down the stretch because I thought our kids have made a lot of game-winning plays, but a few games just didn't go our way. But you learn a lot about yourself with those losses and these games. We are becoming so much better. We're being challenged as coaches. We're being challenged as players to figure out different schemes and ways to make us successful. I think we have a good week of practice this week. I think we're ready to go. We've fine-tuned some things. We've made a couple changes to be more prepared for an opponent like Perkins. But you don't get that unless you go through, those struggles throughout the year. And those struggles have made us better. So we're excited. We're ready to go.
Well, Jeff, good luck on the trip out there. And, of course, thought it was cool to talk to you and Rocky the way we did today. Good luck. And as far as congratulations to you with what you've put together for the girls' side through him and, their ability to challenge for a conference championship this afternoon at the same time that you guys are going to be a little bit further out west. So good luck to both programs as they hit the road tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. We're, like I said, we're looking forward to it, and we appreciate all you guys' coverage.
Jeff, congrats on 200 wins.
That's another big
wonderful.
one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
hard to believe.
This means I'm getting old, man.
No, he doesn't look old enough to have.
No,
you look old enough to remember when
Thanks,
he was
Ron.
hired, but he doesn't look old enough. Yeah.
I remember when Jeff played. I wasn't working yet, but I remember when he played. So good to catch up with you, Coach. The other guy I remember playing, Brett Lyric, in the on-deck circle coming up after the break. So that tells you, I am getting old, Ron. You're exactly right. Thanks, Ron. It feels so good to have you here today.
You're welcome. It's why I'm here.
Jeff, take care. We'll catch up with you down the road, buddy.
We'll see you guys. Thanks a lot.
Quick time out on the other side of the break. Brett Lyric awaits. We're going to give you the scores, too. It'll be the lightning round. I'm going to put Ron Yance to work on his ability to get through this score sheet. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. It is online at WEOL.com and streaming at the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Lorraine Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
And welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yance. Brett Lyric waiting on deck, but first the scores from last night. Ron, take us away in the Southwest Conference.
And these scores for Tim Gebhardt, our partner who needs scores at the top of the hour.
Remember when I said you were going to hammer it?
Oh, okay. Yes. Southwestern Conference, Amherst over Avon Lake, 79-71. Elyria beats Ridgeville, 77-59. We got Coach Lyric coming up. Bremen Park over the Middies, 75-56. And Old Falls beats Avon, 59-50. We had Coach Delicio in the 9 o'clock hour.
In the Lorain County League, it was Brookside over Oberlin, 59-51. That was our game of the week. Larry Babbitt will join us coming up at about 10:30. Keystone a winner over Clearview, 89-39. Just caught up with Jeff Holzhauer of the Wildcats. Firelands took out Columbia 61-55. Colin Myers joined us in hour number 1. And Black River, in a grind of a game, got Wellington 41-32.
In other games, Lorraine lost last night to Brunswick 75-47. Vermillion beat Port Clinton 51-31. We've got Coach Habermill coming up in this hour. And then on the girls' side last night on a Friday night matchup, Amherst dropped one to Avon Lake. The Shore Gals beat the Comets 48-34.
National Basketball Association, the Cleveland Cavaliers emerged victorious over the Kings 123-118. Tim Alcorn with the Cavaliers will join us coming up at about 10:40. And on the college hardwood, Ohio State, they fell to Michigan last night, 74-62. Do want to point out Ohio State had a brief lead in that second half, so the Buckeyes not too far from where they want to be. Tough loss to the third-ranked team in the country. And without further ado, we're going to bring in the victorious head coach of the Elyria Pioneers, Brett Larrick, joining us, his team with a 77-59 win over Ridgeville last night. Brett, thanks for being patient.
No problem. Thanks for having me on this morning, guys. And
Brett,
first of all, I'm not sure what all I missed, but tell those Keystone guys if they're shoveling driveways, I can send them my address as well. I've known Rocky and Jeff a long time, so if they're in the business tomorrow and Monday, I got another place they can stop.
I think Rocky might have lost a bet at some point during the week is what we think happened. But maybe you can text Jeff afterwards and come up with something. It is Championship Sunday tomorrow, Brett, so maybe you guys can figure that out, and one of you guys will be on the loser's end of who's in the driveway.
Well, absolutely. I got some places to be for those games, so hopefully we can get there.
Right on. Well, places you needed to be yesterday was in Ridgeville, where you guys took care of business 77-59 against the Ridgeville team that we've talked about, has all the weapons to make them a formidable opponent, and you guys did pretty well against them.
No, we definitely did. It was a nice bounce back win for us. We were down 2 starters, and I thought our guys came out really focused, really ready to go right from the start. Defensively, tempo-wise, our activity level, energy was all where it needed to be. I think that first quarter was 18-8, and it kind of sets the tone for us right there.
You talked about it, a bounce back win. We had the game over your place against Falls. It was not a high scoring game, but it was a great game to be a spectator at. Calling the game with Michael Keefe was certainly an honor and a privilege. You guys battled it, gave all you want. No team had a 6-point lead or anything more than a 5-point lead until late in that fourth quarter. So to have an emotional game like that and then to come away with an 18-point victory last night, something went well between Wednesday and Friday for you guys.
Yeah, well, you can call it a great game Tuesday and be a part there. But for us, we just didn't do what we needed to do. And a lot of it's on us, our energy levels, our activity levels. And Chris and his guys do such a good job of, keeping the tempo where they want it. Right. They pick up full court, but their pressure is different than ours. They do it to slow you down. We do it to kind of ramp everybody up. And then offensively, they'll make 10, 15 passes before they want to get a shot. And last night, that first quarter, we got the tempo where we wanted. And the key was, I thought Wednesday, Thursday, we did a nice job working in practice. Practices now aren't 2 hours long, but when you're going, we got to go hard. And I thought Wednesday, Thursday, our guys did a nice job of getting ready to go.
Brett, have you switched, not just you as a program, but I think a lot of coaches in the second part of a season, whatever the season may be, whether it be wrestling, basketball, football, or baseball, have you pulled back on practice time? I mean, have you shortened it? And so, walk us through that process. Where are you at right now with that? Especially mid-January, you start cutting back. We've been Tuesday, Friday, the whole month.
And once you get into those, where you're grinding, so especially conference games, some days will be, shooting and review days. And then those days that we need to get work in, we're probably on the court about an hour after our stretching and stuff, where we're actually working, going hard. Then we'll get extra shooting and stuff in, but, we'll do a little bit. And we always do our film and scouting stuff, but we just cut back the court time and try to rest legs a little bit, especially how fast we want to play. But this time of year, you just got to be aware of that. And our guys know the work they need to get in. Wednesday, Thursday, we got our work in and we got out. And that's the key this time of year.
Brett, where are you right now? And I think it's interesting because our coaches on Saturday mornings, they are right back in it. We had both Firelands coaches on. They were in the gym. The girls have a game tonight, and and the boys had a shoot around. Rocky's getting ready to go to the gym. Holzhauer was getting ready to jump on a bus. Where are you right now?
I'm at the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here all morning doing our film and getting our stats done and everything. And with the weather, we were supposed to have a couple of days off, but not knowing what's going on, we had opened the gym, let our guys get some work in, and we had a bunch of guys show up to shoot this morning. Again, we just opened it for an hour so they can get shots up, get their work in, and get out. But just with the uncertainty, normally we don't play the next Friday, so we would have taken these days off, but we opened it up today because our guys can't shoot Sunday and the uncertainty Monday. So our guys wanted to get some shots up. So, yeah, we've been at the gym all morning, and they're going to stay sharp. And, we got our work done film-wise that we needed to as well.
Brett, you referenced 6 days off now. How important is that at this stage in the game and this stage in the season? You talked about a loaded January where you guys were Tuesday, Friday, and, certainly you're not one to make excuses. You were not 100% against Falls on Tuesday night in a 4-point game. So talk about what 6 days off means to your roster.
A lot. I was really happy we got the game in last night. I didn't want it to get pushed back. We wanted to play, and we knew we were down 2 starters because of injury. We were down a starter Tuesday night. Jerry Daniels rolled his ankle versus Avon. So we knew he was probably going to be out all week, but that extra 6 days, we're hoping to get him back next week. And then Tink, we'll see where he's at for next weekend. But these 6 days off are nice. We'll get a couple of days away. Guys can get some extra shooting in. And then hopefully we can get back in the gym early in the week and get our work in and start getting ready for next weekend because we got back-to-back Avon Lake at home and then Toledo St. Francis, who's 6'9", 6'8", 6'8". So, yeah, it's nice to get these 6 days off. I was really happy we got our game in last night and played the way we did.
6'9", 6'8", and 6'8". How many times do you see that, Brett? And, you've been around the game high school-wise, obviously college-wise too for you as a player, but high school-wise, how many times do you see that?
Well, we not very often, but we've seen it a couple times. Ignatius a few years ago, when we played them in the district, they were pretty big. Toledo, St. John's, when we played them in regionals, they were big. Vince Williams, who's playing in the NBA, and they had another big. But to have 3 of them, 6'9", he's going to Miami of Ohio next year, and then the other ones are juniors. And then their wing, their 2-guard, is one of the top 5 sophomores in the state. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be, we're playing at Margaretta in one of they're calling it the tourney tune-up. So it's a small floor, which we don't particularly like, but it'll be half court versus full court. We'll see if we can't get it going, but with the small court, it makes it a little tougher. But we got to worry about our next conference game first. That's going to be on the afterburners, and that'll be a rushed scout job for us for sure.
Well, speaking of that, you've got Avon Lake, who, is going through a transition year after Eric's, 2 decades as the head coach there. How do you see the Shoremen at this point in the season? Have they gotten better?
Yeah, you could look at them last night, 6-point game. They were right there with Amherst. They scored 71, I think. The last 2 games, they've scored a lot of points. Their point guard's been in 2 or 3 games in a row. So that gives them another scoring threat to go along with B-Saul. So, they're becoming familiar with TJ, and I'm sure they're putting more stuff in and getting acclimated to what he wants, and he's getting acclimated to them. So you got to be ready every night in this league. There's no nights off, and that's why we won't even talk about Toledo until Saturday morning. But this week will be all about Avon Lake.
Now, the 3 of us are old enough to remember when St. Francis was predominantly a football school. So, yeah, you're thinking about how the dynamic changes there. So, Brett, you talk about that. One of the things that I think is great that we didn't really reference is you mentioned, Daniels coming back, hopefully for you. Punch off the bench that you guys have this year, whether he starts or he doesn't, that puts somebody else there that's available for you to come off the bench along with Micah Jackson. Maybe not his best game as an Elyria Pioneer Tuesday night against Olmsted Falls, but, just what kind of future does Micah have in terms of being able to fit so many roles that you need him to do with that length?
Well, you just hit it on the head. So many roles. Last night we were without Tink and Jerry, so 2 ball handlers. So he played point guard a lot last night. And I know he wasn't happy with the way he shot. But then if you look at the stats, he had 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 deflections, and only 2 turnovers. So a little bit different role last night, handling the ball. But I thought he did a good job defending Luke Rowe. We only gave Luke 10 points. We picked him up full court, and that was, he was primarily on him most of the game, him and Chris Rogers. So, so many different roles that he can play for. Shooter, ball handler. He can use his length with his arms and deflections. So, yeah, he's progressed really nicely, and he's a nice threat to have.
Well, sounds good, Brett. Again, use this 6 days, get healthy, get rested, and again, a tough customer improving Avon Lake Ball Club, as you mentioned, coming up for you Friday night. So good luck in that contest, as well as many more conversations ahead with you on Saturday mornings.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on, and stay warm this weekend, and hopefully those Keystone guys find your guys' driveway also.
That's right.
And one other thing, make sure you guys be nice to Kurt. He just had surgery, so it's nice for him to get a win last night right after his surgery this week.
Well, he's got a smile on his face because he can hear you, Brett. So I think
we'll bring him on, and you can convey that if you want right now. Just
I'm sure he's feeling a lot better.
Kurt, can you hear
Brett, kick a man while he's down.
I was trying to pump you up. What helped more, the win or the pain meds?
The win, 100%.
This is a family-friendly show, guys.
I even sat down for most of the game last night, which is a rarity.
I was gonna say, if you're sitting down, then something's not right.
Right. So.
Brett, thanks for hooking up with us today, and thanks for welcoming Kurt into the show. We're gonna kick you out. We're gonna put Kurt on, and we're gonna catch up with you later on. Before we let you go, Brett, you mentioned Championship Sunday. Give us a quick predicts.
I'm going Denver and Seattle, I think.
Denver
and
with
Seattle.
the backup quarterback and Stidham. Okay.
I think that's the motivation for them. They're ready to go. Sean Payton's going to have a chip on his shoulder, and at home too.
Now, one heck of a defense too, and yeah, weird things happen in Denver. I hate it for a reason. So
don't we all?
We'll catch up with you later, Brett. Thanks for the predictions.
Right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Right on.
Thanks, Coach.
Brett Larrick with the Elyria Pioneers, and now Kurt Habermill, as Brett so eloquently introduced. Kurt, you're coming off of a 51-31 victory over Port Clinton last night, and I guess back in the saddle in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a crazy week for me. I was pretty impressed with the boys last night. I thought for the first time all year, they took some adjustments we put in practice and strictly focused on them, and it worked to perfection. And credit to them, because sometimes our heads get kind of crazy during a game and we forget about what we want to do. And last night from opening tip, they did exactly what we told them to do. And the first time we lost by, I think, 15 to that team. So for us to turn that around and win by 20, shows a little bit of their growth and hopefully where we're heading.
Kurt Habermill, our guest with the Vermilion Sailors program. And Kurt, yeah, you talk about growth and where you're heading. You maybe didn't finish 2025 the way that you guys thought you could, especially after a hot start to the season, really, when you guys opened up play. Maybe finding a little bit more out about your group as 2026 begins here. What's that like in terms of, just the rugged SBC play that not a lot of people in Lorain County understand?
Yeah, it's more about where you go. It seems like in the SBC, it's some of these gyms are just treacherous to play in. They're just awful, and I don't like going to a lot of them, to be honest with you. And they're small, and it's hot, and it's packed, and your kids sometimes don't react very well to it. And a big growth for us has been coming out in the second half. We've been absolutely awful in the third quarter this year. And we've had a lot of close games where we look back to that third quarter and we've had just some terrible possessions, some terrible defensive breakdowns. And maybe we're growing up a little bit because, like I said, last night, we walked into the locker room at halftime and there's kids talking about things that Port Clinton's trying to do to us and how we adjust to that. And I kind of just paused and let them talk. And it was kind of great to see, because normally, we'd have kids heads down. We'd have kids who maybe were bickering with each other, and we didn't have any of that last night. It was pretty awesome to see, and it kind of went back to the practice before. The night before, I thought we had our best practice of the year, and I thought, the kids kind of took that over into the game.
Kurt, where are you right now? Where are you talking to us from?
I'm at our field house in a locker room where it's quiet because our kids are lifting right now. So yeah, I'm kind of in a place where no one's going to get to me. So yeah, and you guys are lucky. You got my voice. My voice at the beginning of the week wasn't great. I had a disc replacement surgery on Monday and got out of the hospital on Tuesday. And so now I'm actually doing pretty well now. So, a win makes it a lot better, and happy kids makes it a lot better. And so life is good right now.
It's amazing, I think, that you coached in that game last night, having a disc surgery on Monday.
Ron, I think you know me long enough that you know that I'm not going to miss a game. So
right.
I behaved. My wife was kind of eyeing me up across the gym the entire time and making sure I had a brace on. But I sat a good portion of the time. And you know what? When they're playing like they did last night, I didn't have to do much. And that's kind of a music to my ears, because the last thing I want to do is be that guy that just runs up and down the sideline and is screaming and yelling. And I know the refs appreciated me last night because I was pretty quiet.
So the Keystone boys that we had on earlier, Holzhauer and Houston, are making their rounds in the county tomorrow and shoveling other coaches' driveways. I don't know if you've heard about that or not.
Kurt's not available to shovel.
I'm guessing you're not available to join that team.
So I will volunteer. I can take my car and run over the snow if they need me to, but I'm not going to shovel it. I can pack it down a little bit if they want me to, but I'm not going to shovel it.
We understand. We don't want that to happen.
A long time ago, both Rocky Houston and Kurt Habermill played summer baseball for my father. So it's interesting to see these guys now, coaching as grown men. Not that Kurt's old; he's still a young guy, but it's fun to watch.
Well, certainly fun to watch, Kurt. You were talking about a 51-31 win for your Vermilion Sailors over Port Clinton. I think anybody says, "Wow, it's a 20-point win." That's in and of itself impressive. But when you think about holding a team under 40, talk to your team's defensive capabilities last night.
Yeah, when you look at that score, 31 is the key point to look at for me, because we've shown we can score the basketball this year. We've had multiple, I think we've had 5 or 6 games where we've been in the 70s or 80s, but usually Vermilion is a lockdown, good defensive team, and we've had trouble scoring in the last couple of years. And this year it's kind of gone total reversal. And the fact that we held a team that runs their stuff really well in Port Clinton to 31 points, 14 points in the second half. I'm super proud of the boys for that, because to me, that's Vermilion basketball. And while we weren't great offensively last night, we knew that we would eventually get going offensively. And so the defensive end was the key part.
Kurt, have you had a defensive half where you have allowed less than 14 points? That's a low number. Has that been the lowest?
No, not this year. We're not this year. So on the year, we're giving up about 62 points, and we're averaging about 62 points. So for us to turn in that kind of a defensive effort is, and we keep telling the kids it all reverts to communication. They're just too quiet on the court sometimes. And last night you heard guys chirping like crazy, letting everybody know what play was coming, where they needed to be. And that was fun to watch, because, I think they get tired of hearing my voice all the time. So the fact that they can coach themselves a little bit and coach each other a little bit and take it in the right way is a step in the right direction.
Kurt, thanks for catching up with us this morning. I'm going to let Rob know that you are 2 for 2 as far as the technological interface goes. He'll be really excited, because he takes pride. He thinks he coaches you up on that one. He takes a lot of credit for it. Ron and I are at your place on Tuesday. You got Columbia. So if you could just preview that one for us real quick. I know that you're still, putting things together over last night, but, they took one on the chin last night to Firelands. So what do you see happening in that one?
Well, first of all, Josh does a really good job with them. He gets them to play to their best of their ability. I watched their game against Brookside, and boy, they played a really good basketball game. They had every single chance to win that game. They got a lot of guards that can shoot the basketball, and they're going to spread you out a little bit. And I think it's probably really important for us to use our advantage, which will definitely be our size, and not try to play to their advantage, which is, a 100-mile-an-hour game and trying to, chase them around the perimeter the entire time and making them do what we want them to do and not what they want to do.
Well, make sure that snow is, like you said, driven over in the Vermilion parking lot for Tuesday night when Ron and I get there. We'll be really excited to see you, and always like visiting your facility.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Kurt, looking forward to seeing you Tuesday.
Congratulations on the win last night. As Kurt Habermill with the Vermilion Sailors coming off of a 51-31 victory over Port Clinton will be at his place Tuesday night when they take on Columbia. We're going to take a quick time out on the other side of the break. We're going to catch up with Larry Babbix coming off of a 59-51 win over a very cagey Oberlin team last night at his place. It's next on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show on WEOL.com and also streaming on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
And we welcome you back into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yance. Joining us now, Larry Babbix with the Brookside Cardinals. How apropos that we bring you in right now, Larry, as Kurt Habermill just said, he's preparing for the Columbia team that he had some high praise for, that he said gave you guys all you wanted about a week ago at this time.
Yeah, I mean, Columbia's playing really well. I mean, again, we talked after our game last week. Maybe not the record they want, but they play really fast. They got shooters everywhere, so that's a hard team to prepare for, and ultimately try to get a victory against. So that'll be a really good basketball game for you guys on Tuesday night between those two teams on over at Vermilion on that big floor. It'd be fun to watch, and we still got Vermilion at the end of the year. So we played Bay on Tuesday, so we won't get to see it live, but I'm sure we'll get the film, and that'll be an interesting one to just see what happens in that game, because that should be a really good basketball game.
Larry, speaking of good games, you had one last night against Oberlin. I mean, that was tight. It was in the 50s, so you could say, not high scoring, not extremely low scoring, but, a methodical game. Talk us through that game last night from your perspective.
Honestly, I thought Oberlin, played very well. Really good game plan. Kurt's mixed up. We've seen it on film. He's ran a lot more zone now. So they threw a lot of different zone looks at us, a couple things man to man, but I just thought his kids played really well. Like, I think they had 5 kids start, and 5 of them all made almost double figures. I think 11, 10, and 8 or something. Don't trust my math, but so I thought their kids really played well against us last night. I didn't like where our focus was, our energy, really anything about the game, to be honest. But you got to give your opponent credit, but if you don't come in with the right mind frame, whether you have school, you don't have school, you have finals. I missed practice on Thursday. You can make excuses all you want, but we worked too hard to approach a game and come into the game with that lack of energy mentally and physically. And the guys heard about it after the game in the locker room. We were not, that was not Brookside basketball in any sort of the way. Again, and again, it's no disrespect to our opponent. We won the game because I just have better kids. Like, my kids are more talented. That's the only reason we won last night. But we did not get better last night. Again, our practice habits have slipped. They're never in school, but everybody's dealing with the same thing. So if we're not holding them accountable to be focused on doing all the little things, all the work we've put in, we keep telling them it's just going to go right down the drain. You get 22 of these a year. You need to be excited every time you get to step on the floor, especially on your home floor. People come out and pay to see you play. And it just wasn't a good product last night, but you take the win. You learn from it, you move on. We gave them the weekend off. Obviously, nobody's going to do anything on Sunday. Hopefully, we'll get a practice in Monday night, and we'll work on us. Very little bit about Bay, but Bay's a very talented team, and if we're not ready to go Tuesday, they'll kick our butts. So it is what it is right now.
Larry, you mentioned, okay, maybe it didn't go the way quite that you wanted last night, despite, the coming out with the win. One of the things that I thought, and Rob and I were discussing as that game was unfolding, late in the game, Oberlin in a situation where they have to foul. And it seemed like you guys came out of a timeout. I don't know if you or Coach Kelly drew this up at all, but you caught Mason in the lane where you knew that he was going to get fouled. He got a layup that was contested, but he was able to convert. He finished it, and then he got the free throw. Is that something where a guy that isn't having quite the game that you expected, or maybe your team effort isn't quite what you expected, but you were able to come up with an opportunity for him to put you guys over the hump at the end?
Yeah, I mean that's our standard go-to play, especially when we know we got them out of the zone and they had to man us. And they only had like one team foul, so we knew like they could be aggressive going after the ball. And we have a few backdoor plays from the side out. Everybody does. And Mason's so damn tall. If you just throw the ball up anywhere around him, he should come down with it. And he made a great catch, finish. Unfortunately, he missed a free throw, but we'll take the basket at that point. But again, give Kurt's guys. We threw every defense we had: full court, half court, man. I mean, we haven't worked on a 1-3-1 in months, and it was the only thing. We just try to get a soft 1-3-1 to cover them, but Corey and Carmelo they're both left-handed guys. We played against them for 4 years, and they got anywhere they wanted to go with their left hands last night. And it's not just that they scored 11 each. It's everything else they stressed the defense with, of coming down and having to help, and then them kicking it out and their guys making big shots for them. So, just not following game plan, stuff like that. That's the discouraging stuff as a coach. Like, come on, man, we need to be getting better, not worse, both mentally and physically. So again, as we talk, we'll take the win, but we just know we got to do a better job of preparation, and our level of excitement approaching games has to be, top notch every game, especially these conference games.
Larry, it seems like you feel very strongly about that point of level of preparation and energy that's going into a game. In the last 10 minutes, you've mentioned it probably a dozen times. So on Monday, if you do get to practice Monday night, what's the message, or what's the process in that practice to reset before Tuesday's game against Bay, or maybe not necessarily for that game, but just to reset mindset wise to finish this out?
Just reinforce our habits. Just, start off with, have a good weight session at 4:00, have a great practice from whatever. I mean, I heard a couple of conversations with practice times, like we're off this whole weekend. So we'll be in the gym Monday between the weight room and the film from 4 to 8. It's just what we do. And so we can work on our passing, our catching, all our fundamental stuff. Our game plan, watch some film on Bay, but you got to trust that the kids. It's easy as coaches just to say, hey, it was a bad night, chalk it up and whatever. But again, I'm not trying to disservice Kurt and his kids. They played well. I just didn't like our intensity in that game at all. So hopefully it's something we learn from and improve on, and just make sure it doesn't happen. Especially next Friday night when we got to go over, and face Wellington, which is really playing a lot better, and it's a very hard place to win at. So I think the kids will refocus this weekend, and hopefully get them back in school by Tuesday, and just get them back on a routine, and just kind of go from there. But it's our job as coaches to make sure they are ready, and we obviously didn't do a very good job of it this past week.
Larry, you mentioned the 1-3-1 that Kurt threw at you. Do you have, I guess, maybe an unfair question to ask you because you'd have to give away a secret, but I mean, are there defenses that you'd rather not see?
No, I mean, honestly, we'd love to see zone the way we shoot. But, last night, I think we tried to just force the ball inside a little bit too much. I mean, I know you want to get the ball inside against the zone, but I thought we forced it, and I thought Oberlin invited it in there and then just stepped in the passing lanes a little bit. But no, I mean, we don't really have any preference. I mean, we see so much man to man, we don't see a lot of zone. So just being able to see some zone was kind of nice.
Kurt mentioned in the Sandusky Bay Conference that there are gyms that he just does not like to go into. And then you just mentioned going into Wellington on Friday night, not necessarily a place that because of the atmosphere. But does it also add a little flavor to the matchup? Does it, increase the competitive juices? Do you smile and have a little fun when you go into Wellington on Friday night, knowing that it's a tight house and you'd really rather not be there in that atmosphere, but it kind of juices you up a little, doesn't it?
You're talking to a guy that did a lot of work in the Columbia Gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, listen, I love to be on the road. There's nothing better than, winning in this league on the road. I mean, all the gyms are just different environments. Again, we talk about big floors, little floors. Wellington on a Friday night, they draw great. They have great fan support regardless of their record. And again, Jim's just doing a great job out there. They're getting better and better every game. So that's an exciting place. I'll be honest, like the only place, and I'll tell anybody that ever coaches at Black River, I can't stand going to Black River. Too far away. And we watch film on them, and we see all our local refs, and we go down there, and I see three guys, and I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never seen ref in my game. So, and thank God we already got our win down there and don't have to go back there till next year. But every other place in the league, I love going to Keystone, Columbia, Clearview, Oberlin, Wellington, Firelands. They're always something about just going to play those rivals, and it's a good, respected rivalry with all of us, and they want to beat us just like we want to get on them.
Larry, long time ago, when I was in the 7th and 8th grade at Midview High School, I was a wrestler in high school, but in junior high, I played basketball. And when we would go to Wellington, we played on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
There was a stage at the school that's no longer there. Did you ever play on a stage?
I think maybe somewhere. I mean, I went to Longfellow in
Right.
Lorraine.
I was going to say you would have played not at Longfellow, but I'm trying to think of what school on the east side or on the west side did have a stage.
Yeah,
I'll come up with it. I'll text you, Larry.
You really had to be careful. If you run out of bounds too hard, you're ending up in somebody's lap in the.
Yeah. Now some of them old gyms had Capopa gym over at Columbia. Man, they had the brick stairs on the court basically. I mean, I don't know how kids didn't maim themselves, playing over there all those years. But yeah, there's been some weird gyms, but again, when you're as old as I am, you've seen a few places, I guess.
Well, Larry, certainly you've been around, and want to thank you. You're not feeling the best, I know, and so it meant a lot that you came on with us. Somebody that is feeling better, is enjoying warmer weather, has plenty of citrus just all around him, is Tim Alcorn. He's gonna follow you up, but he wants to wish you well, I think, in your recovery this week, Larry.
All right.
Larry Babbix, it's been a while. How you doing, my friend?
I don't know if Larry can hear you.
Yeah, I couldn't get Tim.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we can't connect, but he just said he's like, it's been a while, and wishes you well, and continued success over there. But again, road to recovery starts after we wrap up this conversation. Thanks for coming on this morning, Larry. I know it was a rough week in terms of being available.
Yeah, no worries. And tell Tim I'll always feel better with a few Cavs wins. So go Cavs. So
he'll hold up his end of the bargain.
There we go.
Larry, did you have your oatmeal this morning?
No, I got up for you guys at like 10:05, fellas. So I haven't eaten nothing. So
go get some oatmeal.
Go get after it. All right, Coach. Thanks for taking some time. Good luck against Bay on Tuesday evening.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it as always.
You got
Thanks,
it.
Larry.
Larry Babbix with the Brookside Cardinals. They are undefeated in conference play and leading the way in the Lorain County League off of last night's 59-51 victory over Oberlin.
And you and I got the schedule from Rocco in February. You and I have that game at Keystone.
That's the big one.
At Keystone.
That is the big one.
Looking forward to that.
The big one last night for the Cavaliers is maybe not as easy as people might have thought it would have been with that Sacramento Kingstown team that came to town. 123-118 victors over the Kings. But, Tim, that was a different ball game at the intermission. Cavs trailed by 3 following some wholesale changes made by the Kings in that second quarter.
Yeah, they went to their bench, and, boy, they turned things around and in a hurry. The game was tied at 35 at the end of 1, and Sacramento, 33 of their 35 first quarter points came from their bench guys. So Cavs found themselves in a tussle, and we've been through this all season long. To the Cavs' credit, put them away in the second half of play, but it came down to the wire, as it always does. But, you know, in the end, guys, you've been around enough. Wins are wins, and you try to stack some wins and put it in the W column and move on. And so Cavaliers were able to do that last night, and now here we are in Florida. It's not really sunny Florida. It's kind of overcast here this morning, but getting ready for Orlando tonight.
Well, it might not be sunny, but it's not -4 degrees either.
That is true. Although I have not been outside, like Larry Babbix, I got up just for you guys. So haven't even left the hotel room yet this morning. I'm up to talk to you guys, talk a little Cavs or whatever other path you want to venture down.
That sounds like a promo. I mean, we can use Tim's soundbite. I got up for you guys. We can use Babbitt's soundbite. I got up for you guys. It could be a nice little promo for this show. Tim, you mentioned in whatever direction we want to go with you. I would like to jump off the Cavaliers for just a second, because I think it's a topic of conversation in the NBA right now, what's happening in Los Angeles with the Lakers and the Buss family, and even talk of LeBron James being traded to the Clippers or in some way, somehow back to Cleveland. You know, you're in that inside circle with your fellow broadcasters, guys that are with those teams all the time. Your perspective of the Laker franchise right now.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great question, Ron. And of course, I work with a guy in Jim Jones that certainly still keeps in contact with people from Los Angeles and the folks that he knows in the Laker organization. Jim won his championship as a member of the Los Angeles team. And, you know, Jim just kind of looked at me last night when we were talking about it off air, and he goes, dysfunction. Yeah, you've got that Buss family, and of course, Jerry Buss with the 6 children, and Jeannie seems to run the show, and that's obviously the case. When she fired all her siblings, I mean, just fired them, and then the sale of the team that went through. So, yeah, I mean, I certainly don't know the ins and outs insofar as the relationship with LeBron and how that has played out, but certainly a scenario in which, yeah, a lot of drama, and of course, as we know, if you have family drama, it just spills into everything else, and I think that's what happened in Los Angeles. But LeBron said the other night, listen, there's a story written about me literally every day, so you just can't, you know, dwell too deeply into it. He's just got to go out and play the game, and that's what he's doing now. But I'm sure he's going to be asked even more about it when the Lakers are in Cleveland on Wednesday.
Well, and after hearing that sound from LeBron James basically saying that I don't pay attention to that stuff, you know, that's not the kind of stuff that gets me going. You know, I thought it was hilarious. He's like, I watch golf every day, you know, basically. I think that's typical of LeBron, and that's not a negative. It's just he's been compartmentalizing those type of things
since he was 12 years old. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, for them, for the media, for anybody to think that that's a bigger story than it is, maybe for the franchise, but I don't think as it impacts LeBron James that this is necessarily the event that some people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, Jared. I mean, obviously the sale has gone through. So now while Jeannie Buss is still the governor of the team, which means she represents the team and votes for the team at NBA league meetings and so forth. That was part of the deal when they sold, the Buss family sold her. In essence, Jeannie sold. Yeah, LeBron, as Ron very accurately said, he's been dealing with this since he's 12 years old. There's always some sort of story and some sort of feature about LeBron, pro and con. And if he were to sit there and read that stuff every single day, he could drive himself crazy. So, I mean, I'm sure he picks up on pieces of it, but in the end, you know, the old saying, you can only control the controllables, and he can't control that. That's a story that SI did on the Buss family. Now, obviously, his name leaked into it or spilled into it, I guess is a better term. But in the end, yeah, he can only go out and play basketball to the highest ability that he can, and which is still amazing that he does it at his age. But
it's incredible.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. And so, yeah, I think the underlying story here is more of how this Buss family has really been torn apart after the passing of their dad, Jerry Buss.
Tim, let's stick with the kind of the around the NBA for a second, if we could. And you mentioned, the extended health of LeBron and how he still plays at a high level and really keeps himself off that disabled list. If you go to Milwaukee right now, I think Giannis is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So the impact not only on the Bucks, but what that means to Giannis and Milwaukee moving forward.
Yeah, that's a tough break. Of course, for the NBA as a whole, I always say this. Listen, these injuries don't impact the team. They do, obviously, but it impacts the league. You want to see stars when you tune into a game, whether it's Peacock or Amazon or ESPN. Fans want to watch stars. They want to watch Giannis. They want to watch Luka. They want to watch Jokic, who, of course, he's out. So you're going to add Giannis to another big name that's not going to be able to play like Nikola Jokic, but it's right on down the line. And so incredibly unfortunate for Milwaukee because he is the head of the snake. And so everything revolves around Giannis in Milwaukee. And to his credit, a few weeks ago, he came out and just really stamped out any sort of rumblings about he doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. He's going to ask for a trade. Where he said, I will never, ever do that. I want to finish my career here. I want to be a Milwaukee Buck. So devastating news for the Bucks. Now, the good news, or maybe better put, would be the silver lining. He's not lost for the rest of the year, but 4 to 6 weeks is still a pretty crushing blow for the Bucks.
It's rare, I think, in today's professional sports world, for lots of reasons that we could do a whole show on, to have an elite athlete, a star player in a smaller market say exactly what he said this week. This is my home. This is where I want to stay. This is my professional home. This is where I want to stay, because the temptations certainly are extraordinary for somebody like that.
They are, but I think the NBA has structured it correctly so that the stars are going to be spread across the league. Now, you're getting back and forth insofar as the first apron, the second apron, but that was instituted so that these teams just can't build these super teams like you saw in Miami when LeBron was there and in other places. So,
like they tried in
Brooklyn. It does have its major markets like LA, like LA and New York and Chicago, but with that second apron, they all just can't land in one spot anymore. And so you're going to see them spread out throughout the league. And you're going to have guys like Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland and Giannis in Milwaukee. And Denver's really not even a major market per se. So you'll have a Jokic in Denver. And I think it's great. I think it's great that you have this not necessarily parity, but you have the stars that are in these smaller markets and that can stay in the smaller markets.
How fortunate are we, Tim, to see Mitchell on a daily basis?
Oh, man.
Last night, for sure.
Yeah, last night, right, exactly. Another 30-plus point effort from Donovan Mitchell. He's an elite all-NBA player, and so to have that type of star quality here in Cleveland, Ron, the fans are very, very fortunate. And he's playing the best basketball that he has ever played. And he was pretty damn good in Utah. And, of course, he's been really good here in Cleveland. But the level that he's brought his game to this year has just been extraordinary. So, fans in Cleveland are very, very fortunate to be able to see him and hopefully listen to his exploits game in and game out. He's just been an elite NBA player this year.
Yeah, lucky enough to see him in his prime here as a Cavalier. And we'll keep it there for a second because we're talking about stars, a budding guy in his own right, Paolo Banchero over in Orlando, where you're at right now. Talk about what kind of a challenge they present to the Cavs. I don't want to call mirror images of each other, but, they're hovering a few games over 500. The Cavs, I think 26-20 right now in the campaign. So Orlando a little bit over 500. But, what has the road back from injury been like for Paolo? Maybe the numbers aren't as robust as what they've been in years past prior to an injury, but he's putting it together right now, it would seem.
Yeah, again, another example, Jared, and as Ron alluded to, about the star power in these small to medium markets. And Orlando, with a guy like Paolo Banchero. By the way, the other aspect to that is the international game. a lot of the guys that I alluded to, of course, Jokic and Giannis and Doncic, these foreign players. And so the NBA has just this influx of talent. A third of the league is foreign players. I mean, that's just incredible. So, but circling back to Orlando with Paolo, yeah, he's another guy that's playing just a high level of basketball. And I think the Cavs are in for a real challenge. Number one, let's write a strongly lettered email to the NBA schedule makers. We touched down here in Orlando at 2:45 this morning. Luckily, the ride over to the hotel was pretty quick. Wasn't a lot of Disney traffic at 2:45 when we went from the airport to the hotel.
We planned it that way.
Just an absurd back-to-back to be at home last night and then fly to Orlando and now play the Magic tonight. All that being said, Orlando should be raring to go. They got blistered on Thursday night against Charlotte, but Orlando had been coming back home after playing over in Europe, so I'm sure they didn't have any legs whatsoever on Thursday. We'll see the real Orlando team tonight. Now that they've had those couple of days to kind of get acclimated again to U.S. time and get their legs back. So, yeah, this is a tough team. As you said, Jared, it's interesting. Somewhat of a mirror image to the Cavaliers. Of course, Jamal Mosley in that J.B. Bickerstaff kind of mode where it's all about toughness and grit, to use JB's term. And it's a team that I think they're going to be in the mix as far as the Eastern Conference is concerned, not only with Banchero, but Wagner's back. He hadn't played since last year. And so Wagner's had a few games now to get under his belt. Made the big swing in the offseason to bring Desmond Bane here, because if Orlando had lacked anything the past couple of years, it had been three-ball shooting. So they go out and they get Desmond Bane from Memphis. He can knock down shots. Now, his three-ball shooting hasn't been as high as I think Orlando would have hoped. But again, it all comes back to the mean, as they say. At some point, Bane's shooting. Well, I must have Brandon Beane on the mind. Bane's shooting will come back.
He's very upset about Beane not getting fired.
I can understand why that might be.
I texted Tim when I heard the McDermott news, like immediately, and he responds, "I heard the wrong guy."
But anyway, when you saw the Keon Coleman press conference, you understand why that might be.
Yeah, I was dialed in. I was watching that. But to finish off about Orlando, yeah, it's a team that's certainly going to be in the mix in the East, and I think the Cavs are in for a real battle tonight.
Do you like the scheduling of this being a home and home now, and then you're going to have that day off in between, and then weather providing, and the Magic comes to town on Monday night?
I kind of like these little mini series. I do. We did it with Philadelphia a couple of weeks back,
and it worked out well.
It worked out very well. Did it with Miami, and then Miami, when they come to Cleveland, it'll be 2 games in 3 days. I like it. It has a little bit of a playoff feel to it. I like it better when it's in the same place, because now we're going to turn right around and fly home tonight, and Lord knows what sort of conditions we're going to be landing in. So I do like it when it's in the same arena twice in 3 days. But in the end, Joe always said, Timothy, we play 82. And at some point, no matter how the schedule maker puts it together, you're going to play 82 games, 41 at home, 41 on the road.
Well, we appreciate the time this morning, and go get some rest. Maybe get some breakfast. Do the Larry Babbitt's oatmeal thing.
I love oatmeal. I was thrilled to hear Larry say that. I'm a big oatmeal guy. I love it.
Well, you and Larry can have the same breakfast, getting up at the same time, just in different areas today. You can have the Larry Babbitt Saturday morning, and that'll work out real well for you. But
we didn't ask Tim how his 61-year-old legs were. He was talking about, legs.
You've been talking about how old people are all morning long.
How you feeling, Alcorn?
People already don't like us, or at least me. They're going to hate you. I don't want that to be the case.
I'm feeling good, Ron. I'm feeling great.
Good.
He's in sunshine and warm weather.
Yeah,
or
that's true.
Overcast and warm weather. But
he gets room service too.
Well,
not at these prices.
And there you have it. Well, Tim, thanks for joining us this morning. And again, have a great call, you and Jim, later on tonight. And then, of course, and above all, safe travels home. Like I said, it could get a little dicey here. It doesn't seem like it's supposed to be violent. It's a steady type of event. So maybe that'll help in terms of, getting you guys back safely and on time later on this evening.
Sounds good to me. Thanks, guys. Always great to be with you. Be safe. Be warm.
You too, Tim.
We'll do our best. You too. Take care. We'll see you when you get back. That's Tim Alcorn, voice of the Cavaliers. And again, Cavs took care of business last night, 123-118. They're on the road in Orlando later on this evening. And that's part of a mini back-to-back when you think about what's going on later on this week. Ron, we're going to take a quick time out. And on the other side of that, we'll reset our schedule for today and look ahead to Tuesday. It's next on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. We're online at WEOL.com and streaming on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorraine Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Hi, Tim Alcorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Ready to wrap it up here in the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz. Ron, it's girls basketball action today on WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Rob Linsky and I make our way over to Elyria in the next soon as we'll have the Elyria Pioneers girls basketball as they meet the Lady Middies of Midview. Our coverage not really done in terms of the next few days because you and I, as we mentioned it, are going to be over at Vermillion Tuesday night as Columbia makes the trip over there. It'll be me, you, and the talented Zach Sprague going to join us over at Vermillion that evening for boys basketball.
And then you and I have a big-time girls matchup this week coming up as well.
Yeah, Wednesday evening we'll be over at Berea Mid-Park, Avon Lake. The Shore Gals go over there looking to make noise in the SWC in terms of what's going on in that conference race, and they'll lock up with Berea Mid-Park on Wednesday evening.
Should be a fun week.
Looking forward to it. Want to thank you. Want to thank all the coaches that joined us and certainly everybody that tuned in and listened today. Want to thank our sponsors, Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, Nick Abraham, Buick GMC, located at Route 57 and Broad Street in Elyria. Lorraine Medina, Rural Electric Cooperative, that is LMRE, your Touchtone Energy Corporation. EcoTree Services, your complete tree care company, and Lorain County Community College, high-quality education for good jobs. For Ron Yantz, I am Jared Kozar saying stay warm, be safe. Check us out in just a little bit for girls high school basketball this afternoon over at Elyria as Elyria takes on Midview. So long, everybody.